Alright guys, we are back with round 4. This round we have Grixis Pyromancer against Esper Deathblade. Everybody loves that Grixis Pyromancer. Alright, we already seen Brian Hannan round 1. He is playing his Esper Deathblade. He is playing the Polluted Delta, cracking. Let's see what he's going to get. Grabs a basic swamp after debating on the scrubland. Plays a Deathrite Shaman and passes the turn. Ryan's going to play his Bloodstained Mire. Drop down to 19 life. He's going to fetch as well. Fetching for Volcanic Island. Let's see what Ryan's turn is. It is a Ponder. Let's see if I can get the guys to move their cards inside the lines. I don't see a land in that Ponder. I think that's what Ryan's looking for. Well, Ryan plays a Scalding Tarn, passes the turn. Brian swings in with his True Name Nemesis, dropping Ryan down to 16. Plays a Sensitive Divining Top. Probably passes the turn here. Ryan plays a Mountain. Cracks his Scalding Tarn, dropping down to 15 life. Grabs an Underground Sea. Plays a Young Pyromancer, and let's see what we have in his hand. Does he have a Cabal Therapy? He does. Creates a token. We will find out shortly what Cabal Therapy is naming. That is as long as it resolves. Brian fetches for a Tundra in response to the Cabal Therapy. He's going to Swords the young Pyromancer. Let's see if Ryan has a counterspell for this. Has a force will for this. Oh, it resolves. Young Pyromancer gets exiled. Ryan gains 2 life. The Cabal Therapy was naming Dig Through Time. Brian goes ahead and uses his Deathrite Shaman to exile Cabal Therapy. Brian draws a counterbalance. True Name's getting in for 3, dropping Ryan down to 12. Counterbalance hits the table and passes over to Ryan. Ryan's going to start off with a Ponder. Ryan's going to spin top in response. All we see is a Jace, land. He's going to go ahead and draw a card, putting Sensei's Divining Top on top of his deck. Counters the Ponder. Looks like he's going to play Young Pyromancer this turn. And pass the turn back. Brian plays Jace the Mind Sculptor to bounce the Young Pyromancer back into Ryan's hand. See Ryan tapping 3 mana for his own True Name Nemesis. Brian's going to look for a top, or for 3 mana spells. Reveals Underground Sea. His True Name Nemesis does resolve. It is 4 rounds into top 4. And we are around 4 right now. Brian plays the Underground Sea. Let's see what he decides to do. Probably going to brainstorm with Jace. Nope, he's going to Fate Seal. And looks like he's going to leave it on top. I can't really see exactly what he did, but True Name Nemesis is getting in there. Bringing Ryan down to 6. And then Brian plays his Sensei's Divining Top. Is he going to play Lingering Souls this turn, or is he going to keep up? Yep, he's going to play Lingering Souls this turn. I like keeping up my counterbalance, but I guess Brian's just going to try to kill Ryan this turn, which he still could have with the 2 activations of Deathrite Shaman and attacking with a True Name Nemesis. But we'll see. Ryan casts Brainstorm. In response, Brian flips his top, drawing a card and countering the... Ooh, and there's a Sudden Demise. And he chose white. True Name them getting in. Bring Brian down to 16 life. Oh, he's attacking Jace. Okay. This game is pretty much over for Ryan. But he's just going to play it out, I guess, to see more of Brian's cards. Well, Brian's at 18 life, not 19. Looks like Brian uses the Brainstorm ability on Jace. Has to put 2 cards back. Brian swings for 3, dropping Ryan down to 3. And if Brian would have remembered to use his Deathrite Shaman, this game would be over. He's going to force the top. Using the force does bring Ryan down to 2, and all he had to do was activate Deathrite Shaman. Alright, let's see these sideboard guys. That was a quick game. Alright. So for Ryan's side, we have 1 Rakdos Charm, 1 Vendilion Click, 1 Recoil, 1 Elemental Blast, 1 Blood Moon, 1 Surgical Extraction, 1 Null Rod, 1 Hydra Blast, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Zoran Orb, 1 Envelop, 1 Massacre, 1 Sowing Salt, and 2 Pyroblast. Gotta love the 14 1-ofs. Brian Hannan has 2 Containment Priests, 1 Pithing Needle, 3 Meddling Mage, 1 Sword of Feast and Famine, 2 Mirren Crusaders, 2 Abrupt Decays, 1 Council's Judgment, 2 Enlightened Tutors, and 1 Grafdigger's Cage. I would love to see the Blood Moon coming in. Ryan is on the play. The Blood Moon would be fun against Esper Deathblade. You still can't get there with the turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, but that would be fun to watch. You can side into Massacres. The Massacres are great against the Lingering Souls tokens, a True Name Nemesis. Pretty much every card in Brian's deck, every creature card dies to the Massacre. Now for Brian, he's got 1 Pithing Needle that he could use for Dak Faden, but we didn't see Dak Faden. 3 Meddling Mage, 1 Sword of Feast and Famine that might be able to come in. I don't know. But 2 Mirren Crusader. I like Mirren Crusaders. So those cards are highly underplayed in Legacy. 2 Abrupt Decays I see coming in, and 1 Council's Judgment. Let's go back to our match, guys, and let's see what we got. We do see the Abrupt Decays. Oh, this is all a sideboard for Brian. Brings in a Pithing Needle. See Ryan siding out a Force of Will. Ryan signs out Terminate. And we didn't get to see the other cards. We didn't really get to see the cards he's siding in either. Let's see if we can see anything on Brian's side that he's siding out. He's deciding if he wants to side out that Enlightened Tutor or not. Scrolls past it, he decides to leave it in his deck. Maybe he decided to leave the Pithing Needle on the sideboard. Ryan is on the play this game. That is a lot of lands for Brian Hannan. It's 4 lands, Brainstorm. I didn't get to see the rest of them. But it looks like he's going to keep. Ryan is going to start off with a Bloodstained Mire. Drop down to 19 life. Probably get a Volcanic Island here. Yep. That unlimited Volcanic Island. Plays the Ponder. See Snapcaster Mage, Ponder, and Lightning Bolt. Draws the Lightning Bolt. Passes the turn back. Looks like Brian drew another land. It looks like a scrub land. Excuse me. Brian leads off with the Arid Mesa. I'm sorry, the Marsh Flats. Gets fetches for a swamp, a basic swamp. And Thought seizes Ryan. We see Young Pyromancer, Snapcaster Mage, Polluted Delta, Tasker, Brainstorm, and Lightning Bolt. That could be a Scalding Tarn instead of... yeah, I think that's Scalding Tarn instead of Polluted Delta. I think you take the Young Pyromancer here. Yeah, you should take the Young Pyromancer here. Takes the Brainstorm. Ryan draws his card. I did not get to see it. Plays a Ponder. See Snapcaster Mage. Did not get to see the rest of the cards. Ryan plays a Scalding Tarn and passes the turn back. Can't see what card that is. That maybe it's a counter spell. Ryan plays the island and just passes the turn back. I think we'll see Ryan slam the land, fetch, play his young Pyromancer, and keep a spell open so he can create an elemental token. But we will find out. Alright, it's a young Pyromancer. Brian's going to go ahead and brainstorm in response. See Tundra, Blue to Delta, and it looked like another land. The Cabal Therapy is gross. Cabal Therapy bringing in an elemental token. You get to see Brian's hand. We'll find shortly what he named. But I'm willing to take a wild guess here. Let's see, Cabal Therapy named Counterbalance. It is a whiff, but I could see this Counterbalance flashing back naming True Name Nemesis or Counterspell. I'm very surprised to see that Brian didn't side in, or doesn't have Toxic Deluge in his deck. I was pretty sure he was a big fan of that card. Alright, he's going to flash back Cabal Therapy, and he is going to name True Name Nemesis. And he passes the turn back. Brian draws a Pluto Delta. Plays the Flooded Strand. Is a big. If you're behind and you don't have a young Pyromancer, and you're dealing against a True Name Nemesis, it does, you know, it helps you. It's a board wipe no matter which way you look at it. But he has been a big fan of Toxic Deluge. Ryan is on True Name Nemesis. And we did see the sudden demise from him as well. Alright, we see Brian casting his Lingering Souls, bringing in 2 spirits. See the elemental token getting in there, bringing Brian down to 15. Tasker coming down. We see Brian playing the Tundra, casts Umezawa's Jite, and equips. Decides to attack with only 1 spirit token, and lightning bolts it. Creates an elemental, and Brian passes the turn. Looks like Ryan drew a Volcanic Island. Swings with his Tasker and his 2 elemental tokens. I think that's a Batterskull for the draw for Ryan. Oh, no, it was a Pluto Delta. Maybe it was a Pluto Delta, maybe it was a Batterskull. Can't tell. I think he does, yeah, he does have a Batterskull in hand. So he can decide if he wants to play Batterskull this turn or equip the Spirit with the Umezawa's Jite and swing in. I'm a fan of equipping the sword with the Jite. That way you can kill a token and a young Pyromancer. By the way, Matt, I just modded you. So, if you see somebody getting out of control, don't be afraid to time them out. I give you permission to time out these Yu-Gi-Oh kids. And this looks like what Brian's going to do. He does look like he's going to equip the Umezawa's Jite to the Spirit. And the Spirit goes to attack. Brian Snapcaster Lightning Bolts. Oh, and he counterspells. Counterspells the... Oh, and he has the other Lightning Bolt. Rick Laser, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you for empowering the sloth. We see the other elemental coming in from the young Pyromancer, trigger from the Lightning Bolt. We do see the Tasker, 3 elementals, and the young Pyromancer swing in, which is fatal. Brian goes ahead and scoops up his cards. Let's see what we can find that got sided in. We didn't see anything on Ryan's side that got sided in. We didn't see anything on Brian's side either. So, let's go back and see if we can find anything. See our players looking. We see Brian sorting through his sideboard. We do see that he sided out his Force of Wills. He is still contemplating if he wants to keep scrolling past that Enlightened Tutor. He's really thinking about that Mirror Crusader, but he does know that Mirror Crusader does die to Lightning Bolt. Brian is siding out the Enlightened Tutor. Looks like he did side in the 2 Mirror Crusaders. A Mirror Crusader attached with Sword of Fire and Ice is the tits. Alright, we see Brian presenting. Brian is on the play this turn, or this game. Let's see if we can find. Looks like Brian keeps. Ryan's contemplating his hand. He decides to keep. Brian starts off with an island and then passes. Ryan leads off with an underground sea and then passes a turn. Brian draws a counterbalance for his turn. Let's see if he goes ahead and tries to jam it. And he does. Brian's ready to go ahead and put the counterbalance in the graveyard. Looks like counterbalance resolves. Ryan casts the polluted delta. Go ahead and fetches for a volcanic island. And let's see what we have. Do we have a young pyromancer? Nope, we have a Gitaxian probe to start off. See if the coast is clear. Counterbalance reveals Deathrite Shaman. And he passes the turn. Draws the Deathrite Shaman, plays the polluted delta. Brian goes ahead and casts Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see if this resolves. Ryan is going to cast Brainstorm in response. Brian's going to cast Brainstorm in response to the counterbalance trigger. Let's see. Oh, counterbalance gets countered. Counterbalance gets destroyed from Red Elemental Blast. Brian's still going to get to resolve his Brainstorm. Stoneforge's trigger does still resolve. Let's see if he gets Fire and Ice here. Nope, he gets Batterskull. And the Massacre. Oh, we see the Fire and Ice in Brian's hand. That's why he didn't search it up. And a Null Rod. This is a beautiful turn for Ryan this turn. So that Batterskull is turned off for equipping and returning back. It still becomes a 4/4 when it comes into play, but the Sword of Fire and Ice is now a dead card. Brian plays the Bayou, taps the Bayou, probably for Deathrite Shaman. He does. Do we see Lingering Souls? We do. Going to see two Spirit tokens coming in. Ryan's going to fetch his Polluted Delta at the end of the turn. Gets a Volcanic Island. We're going to get Taxian. Ryan's going to get a Taxian Probe. He does only have that one Massacre, so he's not going to be able to dig into another one. He might dig through time this turn, though. We do see the dig through time. Alright. I hear Mike Danto outside. Looks like I'm finally going to get help with a commentator in here. So, while he's resolving his dig through time, I'm going to set up another chair. We see Lightning Bolt hitting the Deathrite Shaman. And it does look like Ryan got a Cabal Therapy off of that dig through time. And he's going to cast the Cabal Therapy. And we'll find out shortly what he's naming. Probably the Batterskull. Yes, he does. There was a life total discrepancy, but they are fixed now. I think Brian drew a Sensei's Divining Top, which is a bad card to draw here. I hope he's not trying to cast it. Nope, he's going with Flashing Back Lingering Souls. 2 mana for a Stoneforge Mystic. Sudden Demise would be great here. It does look like a Lightning Bolt for the draw. Brian does search out a Umezawa's Jite. Brian swings in for 5, bringing Ryan down to 9. He is on a 2-turn clock. Well, apparently we have a life total discrepancy. Ryan flashes the Lightning Bolt. We do see that Sensei's Divining Top in hand. Swing for 5. We see Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. Three spirits are going to get in, bringing Ryan down to 4. It is a 2-turn clock again. Actually, it shuts off his fetch land, because now these Lingering Soul tokens... Actually, it is next turn is fatal, because I forgot about the flashback Lingering Souls. And that's it. Ryan is looking for that sudden demise. And it did not get there.